I'm Jolene Wynn, and this is the Porn Addict's Wife podcast, episode 259, Changing the Circumstance. If your husband is struggling with a pornography problem and you want some help with it and you are not finding the resources that you like, you are in the right place. My name is Jolene Wynn. I am a certified life coach. I am an active member of the LDS faith, and I am the wife of a former porn addict. And on this podcast, I am going to share with you the tools that you need in order to start your healing journey. This is where I'm going to show you how to dive deep into intentional living, how to rekindle connection with your spouse, how to manage all that emotional turmoil that you're feeling, how to break the addiction cycle that you have to your husband's addiction, and tell you all of the ways to do that and start healing. I am so glad that you're here, and I can't wait to get started. Let's go. Good morning, my ladies. I hope you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day. Was it wonderful? Was it amazing? We had church, which is always actually a little draining for me in a very good way. I do love going to church. We go every week. But in my church, we all have different responsibilities, right? We volunteer for different things. And right now, my responsibility is to teach music to all the kids who are under the age of 12. So for the first hour of church, we're all together and we take the sacrament, communion, right? And there's talks and sermons. And then the second hour, all the adults split off, and there are some adults that help teach, the kids that are under the age of 12, but primarily I'm running the second hour for everyone under the age of 12, which is great, but it's a little, I need to be entertaining and I need to be high energy, and it's great, but also a little exhausting. So I'm always a little tired after church, but it was great. My husband and my brother-in-law made dinner and my kids, and it was perfect. I hate making dinner, so I love when other people make me food, and it was so good. And my husband even made Texas sheet cake, which he asked the other day. He said, what do you want as a treat on Mother's Day? And number one, I said watermelon, because I love watermelon. I could probably eat an entire watermelon in one sitting. And he got me that. And then I said, I would love Texas sheet cake, which I never make because it's a little more complicated than just brownie batter that you make from a box. And so he made it for me. Although we did have a recipe and we weren't sure if we weren't supposed to double it. And then I tried to call my mom, but she was in church, and it was one of those moments where I was like, I will never be enough of a mom to stop calling my mom. Do you guys feel like that? Has anyone reached the status where you know all the answers? Because I for sure haven't. I needed to call my mom. Anyway, we thought that we should double the batter. We didn't need to. It was like exploding in the oven, and it was delicious. So it was twice as much cake as normal, and it was so good. So I hope that your Mother's Day was just as good. And if it wasn't, I'm so sorry. And I hope you know that I thought about you guys all day yesterday. I wanted to talk to you guys today about changing the circumstance. This is not something that I talk about a lot. Most of the time I focus on changing your thoughts and your feelings about the circumstance. But I have had a couple of conversations, not only with my clients, but with some friends and family members. And I wanted to offer, ladies, that just to remind you that it is okay for you to change the circumstance. Did you guys know you're allowed to do this? You're allowed to change the circumstance. The biggest example in my life, right, has been my husband changing his job. So if you guys don't know, my husband is by career and by education, he's a dentist, and he's been a dentist for the last decade, and he has always hated it. Okay, in dental school, he came and he said, I don't want to do this. I really hate it. And I said, well, until you come up with an alternative, maybe let's just keep doing this one. And he has tried over the years to come up with many alternatives, none of which he has liked or enjoyed. And then a year ago, he decided to quit. So he completely quit from dentistry. And you're allowed to do that. Now, over the years, as he has looked at all the things that he doesn't like about his job, he has also, before he quit, changed a lot of his thoughts. He did all of the internal work. He changed his thoughts. He processed his emotions. And he got to the point where he could keep doing it, where it wasn't, I need to quit. Otherwise, I'm not going to, I have to quit emotionally, right? It was, I can keep doing this and I don't want to. And that's what I want to offer. If you have a circumstance in your life that is draining to you, then I want to offer that, yes, we can look at your thoughts and feelings, but I also want to give you permission to just change the circumstance, okay? You're allowed to quit your job. Did you know this? You are allowed to hire a babysitter. You are allowed to hire someone to come clean your house. Did you know this? I have a friend of mine who hates cleaning her house. And so could she change all of her thoughts about it? Yes. But they also have the means. So what she would do is she hired someone to come clean her floors and her bathrooms every week. And that made all the difference for her and her mental sanity. Ladies, I know that it is so often when we get stuck in the train of learning about our thoughts and learning how powerful our brain is, that sometimes we just want to say, you know what, I'm just going to fight through this. I just need to change my thoughts. I just need to change my feelings. No, ladies, sometimes you're allowed to just change the circumstance. You are allowed to move houses. You are allowed to stop talking to somebody. Did you know this? And this is where boundaries can be very, very helpful. When you are changing the circumstance, but you're trying to do so in a way that is in relation to another person, right? If it's involving a relationship, you don't want to completely cut that person out of your life, and you've worked on your thoughts about them, but there's still things that are difficult. You are allowed to set boundaries. There are many podcast episodes on boundaries. Go look for the titles. You will find them, okay? This is your opportunity. Boundaries are a way where you can adjust the circumstances, okay? It's where you say, okay, this person isn't changing. Our interactions are not helpful. I don't like my thoughts and feelings around this person. I've tried to change them. I've landed on ones that I am okay with, that I don't want to change. And maybe you don't want to change your thoughts and feelings. Then you can set up a boundary. Okay, if this person does this thing, then I'm going to do this. I'm going to leave the room. I'm going to not respond. I'm going to hang up the phone. I'm going to go for a walk. I am going to do something different. I'm going to sleep in the guest room. Okay, there are things that you can do that you have control over. You can change the circumstance. Okay, you are allowed to do that. You are allowed to stop volunteering in your kids' classroom. You are allowed to say no to your children. You are allowed to take away their phone. You are allowed to throw away your TV. Did you know this? I had a friend who they got a video game console of some type. I don't know what type. They got some kind of video game console for Christmas one year. And my sister saw her at the gas station one day. They have 6 kids. And my sister saw her at the gas station and she said, "Hey, how are you?" And my friend goes, "Not good." She's like, "I threw away the gaming console today." It was probably like 3 weeks after Christmas. And it had just been a horrible 3 weeks where everything was a mess and a disaster. And she was like, "I'm throwing this away." You're allowed to do that. Did you know, ladies? You don't just have to change your thoughts. You don't just have to buckle down and do the arguments. And I want to offer permission for you guys to do that today. Again, because so often when we know about our brains, as you guys do from listening to this podcast, is that we often don't give ourselves permission. We think that, oh, well, because I know how to change my thoughts, then that's what I should do. And I want to offer that you don't should on yourself. Give yourself permission to change the circumstance. But also take a look and say, is there something that I'm avoiding? Am I just trying to change the circumstance so that I can avoid my thoughts and feelings? Because those thoughts and feelings are just going to come with you. And if you try to change the circumstance without looking at your thoughts and feelings first, then it can create a lot of resentment and bitterness, right? You can change the circumstance, but then blame it on somebody else and say, well, I wouldn't need to if this person would just change X, Y, and Z. And then it'll just kind of create an undercurrent of negativity in that relationship. So we want to make sure that we're doing this from a clean place where you've landed on thoughts and feelings that you don't necessarily want to change. And there's nothing wrong with making your life easier. Ladies, I think we have, especially as women and moms, we have some kind of badge of honor of how hard our life can be. And I remember thinking this when I was in high school and watching girls. There were a couple of girls that I am thinking of in particular that would be like, oh my gosh, I only got 6 hours of sleep last night. And the other one would like, oh my gosh, I only got 5 because I had to do this, and this. And the other one was like, oh my gosh, yeah, and my mom, and then I was also in Japanese, and I was also taking Taekwondo, and then I'm also studying and doing these 9 AP classes on the side. And I just sat there and I looked at him and I said to myself, you don't have to do any of that. Like, your life could be a lot easier. Not that I'm saying that you just get rid of everything that's hard, because yes, there are good things that we want to do that are difficult, but we also don't just have to have life be difficult, right? It's okay. The examples coming to my mind are all having to do with parenting because Mother's Day was yesterday. So let me give you guys an example. If you have a child who's potty training and they poop in their underwear and you hate cleaning out their underwear and it's like the worst activity ever, did you know you could just throw the underwear away? I can't tell you how many friends that I was like, why don't you just throw it away? Just throw away the underwear. We can just buy a new pack of underwear and then we don't have to clean it out. And then it's so much easier. And you can just say no to this thing that you hate. Did you know this? Did you know that you can just say no to your children? Did you know that you can just say yes to other things? There are so many things that we do as moms at our own expense, and it is okay to start changing the circumstance for your good. I just had a conversation with a friend yesterday where she was explaining how much she needs some time to herself, and how her and her husband were getting in kind of a rut on the weekends, right? Because he comes home on the week, he's home on the weekends, he's not at work. And they just got into he would wake up super grumpy. She realized she had subconscious expectations of him helping out, even though during the week she didn't have that. And she would just do it all on her own and it was totally fine. And it just got into kind of this negative back and forth. And she realized that it was so much better if they changed the circumstance. If she just does her own thing on Saturdays for a certain amount of time, and she does all the grocery shopping by herself, and she goes and exercises by herself, and she doesn't have any expectations of him coming along with her in the morning, and he doesn't have to feel like he's obligated to go with her, and that he has to get up and be on her time schedule, and they just do something separate for several hours, and then it's so much better. You are allowed to change the circumstance. And I'm not going to go into anything other than that. That's the entire podcast episode today. Okay, ladies? So take a look at your life and ask yourself, okay, identify where you're having the most internal struggle. Where are you having the most resistance? What is it that you hate the most? And ask yourself, is this something that I want to change? If you hate doing the dishes, okay, can I just change the circumstance? Maybe I have my kids do the dishes. Maybe I assign them each a different day of the week to do the dishes. Maybe we only eat on paper. Maybe I hire someone to come do the dishes. What is the thing that you hate the most that's causing so much negativity in your life? You're allowed to change it. Okay? If it's something that's within your control, you are allowed to change it. If it's not within your control, then we take a look at your thoughts and your feelings and take a look at if we can set up boundaries. But I promise you there's so much more of it that's in your control than you think, and you are allowed to change it. I give you permission, so take a look this week, start changing some circumstances, make your life easier for yourself, ladies, okay? I love you so much, and I'll see you next week on a brand new episode, so take care. All right, my lady, thank you so much for spending time with me today and listening to this episode. I hope that it helped you a little bit more on your journey. If you are ready for more support, more healing, and more hope, I want to personally invite you into my program, Go Forward. Whether you're ready to dive into the Self-Guided Master Course or you want to surround yourself with a community of like-minded women who truly understand, there is a place for you here. You can get started today by visiting www.jolenewin.com. Don't wait for things to change to start healing. Your next step begins now.